Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to the Oriental Café, a podcast where we will sit at the same table to explore the fascinating worlds of Egyptian dance, personal empowerment, and halas, life. I'm your host, Joana Saahirah, world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, and author, the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. I will meet you at the Oriental Café every 2 weeks, alone or with a guest, sharing intimate yet universal conversations. In agreement or disagreement, we will create bridges and inspire each other, because the world is only one, and so is our human soul. Ready to fall in love? Yalla bina! How I moved to Cairo to launch my career, how I became a successful, world-known Oriental dancer, teacher, and choreographer by launching myself and my name through the hyper-competitive, sought-after, harsh Mecca of Oriental dance. That's Cairo. How did I do it? How did I succeed in my own terms, without managers, impresarios, buffers, sugar daddies, without selling my soul to the devil, without falling into a pit of self-hatred? How did I do that? Here's the theme of episode number 29 of the Oriental Café podcast by yours truly, Joana Saahirah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a hard truth kind of episode. So if you're here to be patted on the back and to hear a bunch of bullshit and lies, you came to the wrong place. I'm going to tell you the truth, my truth, what I have experienced, what I have seen, and hopefully I'm going to give you the reality check that you need to move forward if you ever dreamt about becoming a professional Oriental dancer, full-time or part-time. I'm here to help and guide, not to fool you. So here are 2 disclaimers that I need to make before we move forward. Actually, 3 disclaimers. First, subscribe to the podcast newsletter if you want to receive a few perks that I am offering constantly in this podcast, including in this episode. Yes, at the end of the episode, I'm going to tell you more about what I'm offering as a bonus in this episode. You don't want to miss this. So subscribe to the podcast newsletter if you want to receive goodies from me, the host, and my fabulous guests. We're always pampering our subscribers, and you could be one of them. To subscribe, follow the link that I'm sharing in the description box below this video if you're watching this episode on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening to it at the regular audio podcast platforms. That's the first disclaimer. The second disclaimer is I am going to speak from a point of view of experience. Someone who has seen it, done it, and bought the t-shirt. So I'm not going to speak from stuff I heard, from conversations I had. I am going to speak from someone who's been working exclusively in this field for more than 25 years. Someone who has built a successful career and name in Egypt and around the world. Someone who has been living exclusively from my beloved art form since I started to work. All my life, basically. This is coming from deep, real experience. All right? The third disclaimer is moving to Cairo to start an Oriental dance career is not for everyone. No, I'm not going to be the one who tells you don't do it. I am a fan of dream making and dream chasing. I have made so many impossibles possible. Who am I to tell you don't do it? I will never be that person. And I also believe that whatever you want to do, whatever you carry in your heart, you can do it. And you are willing to pay the price and you are willing to do the work. My God, God bless you. Go. Okay? And there's a price and there's a lot of work. Okay? So that is also part of the journey. But knowing that I am never going to discourage you doesn't mean that I think it's a good idea. Working in Egypt professionally is for a very few bunch of dancers. It can break you. It can destroy you. It can destroy your love for the dance. It can destroy your faith in humanity. During the almost 10 years I performed with my orchestra in Cairo, and a little bit all over Egypt, I have seen dancers coming and going, attempting a career, trying to find a contract, trying to make it, and leaving Egypt completely destroyed and hating everything and everyone. And a lot of them hating dance as well, dropping their dance as well. So this is certainly not for everyone. You need a very particular kind of character, aside from talent and education and resourcefulness and so many other things that you need to back yourself up. And I really don't think it's the way to go for most dancers. Having said this, I am going to share my story, and I hope it inspires you in some way, shape, or form. Like the video, like the episode, let me know in the comments, how did this story, a real life story, impacted you? Okay, I'm always curious to know how what I'm sharing is affecting, is reaching our listeners and viewers. So please let me know how this story has impacted you once you have heard it. So I started my career in Egypt, but even before I signed my first contract in Egypt, I had already worked for 1.5 to 2 years in my homeland, Portugal. So I started getting up and running, organizing stuff, teaching, performing, showing up on television, doing a lot of stuff. I worked a lot before I even launched myself and my career in Egypt. But once I moved to Egypt, I had a very unpleasant surprise. It was illegal for me to dance professionally as a solo Oriental dancer in Egypt. Yes, you heard it well. I know it sounds crazy and it sounds like I'm making this up. I'm not. There was a law that forbade non-Egyptians from doing Egyptian dance professionally as solo artists. You could not do it. It was illegal. It was said that foreigners were taking the jobs and the man, oh yeah, I heard it and I read it in the newspapers, from Egyptian dancers. Foreigners are coming into this land and they're robbing our work and our men. That was the narrative. So what did they do? Let's issue a law that forbids foreigner dancers from doing Egyptian dance professionally. So for almost 2 years, I could not do what I came to do. Needless to say, that was a huge shock, mostly because I lived from my dance. That was the beginning of my career, but I was already working exclusively in Egyptian dance, and I paid my bills from my dance. My parents were not helping me financially. There was no one, no boyfriend, no husband, no sugar daddy, nobody helping me financially. And if I could not sign a contract, that meant I did not have money to put bread on my table, to pay for the rent of my flat, to exist. That was how bad it was for me. So I went through a period of shock, of disbelief, of rage. Okay, just imagine forbidding Egyptians or any other nationality from doing whatever they want to do professionally in different countries. That would be a scandal, right? Racism, prejudice against foreigners, anti-constitutional, anti-humanitarian. Okay, but in Egypt, that was possible and nobody said a thing because that was that. And it existed and it affected the lives of dancers like myself in a real palpable way. For me to leave from my dance, I needed to search for solutions. So I searched for other gigs, and I always believed the law would eventually change and I would have a fair chance of getting a contract, getting an audition or auditions, and putting myself to the test in the Cairo market. But until then, I had to do something. So I got a contract in Lebanon I went to dance for Sultan Qaboos in Oman with an Egyptian dance troupe. I did video clips in the Egyptian television. I did Samir Sabri's show with the Folkloric troupe. I mean, I did a lot of work, and if I look back, I think that time when I was not allowed to work professionally in Egypt because it was illegal was actually a good time because it gave me the space to get to know the culture, learn the language, practice my dance skills, and basically prepare so that when the law was out and I could audition with a band, I was ready. That time when I could not perform under contract in Egypt was a difficulty for sure. That was a challenge, but it was also a blessing. And this is something I need to share with you because so many dancers that I come in contact with, they're focusing on the challenges, on the problems, the closed doors, the difficulties. And I always tell them this, look, first of all, a difficulty is not necessarily a bad thing. It can push you to get better. It can push you to learn and to thrive. And obstacles are there for a reason. So don't get hooked on the obstacles and don't use them as a reason to procrastinate and to sabotage yourself. Obstacles are a part of life, and they're often blessings in disguise. I know this can be annoying, but believe me, it's true. So that time period when I could not perform in Egypt because it was illegal was a time period when I had a lot of other professional experiences and I gathered the resources, the skills, the preparation, the experience that allowed me to audition when the time came and nail my first dance contract. All right? So what was once something bad became something good, at least in my head. And that's how I like to see things. Now, once the law was off, I went door to door, literally, door to door, knocking on people's door and saying, I'm a dancer. Here's my curriculum. I have gathered an orchestra, which wasn't true. I hadn't gathered an orchestra yet, but I told them I had it. And I am ready to audition. I want you to audition me. Are you interested? I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of yeses that came with friends with benefits and other kind of monkey businesses that I said no to. From these meetings I had with managers of 5-star hotels, I learned about the link between Egyptian dance and prostitution and how a lot of dancers get their opportunities because they sleep with specific men. They go out with specific men. I got a very harsh reality check, but I also built a thick skin. I said no to every monkey business proposal because that's not who I am and that's not what I came to Egypt for. I was always very clear. I'm a dancer. I'm not a prostitute and I am not a geisha. So if you're searching for a prostitute or a geisha, good for you. Have fun. It's not going to happen with me because I am a professional Oriental dancer. Got it? They didn't get it, but I got it. That was enough. So I started going and knocking on doors. I'm going to spare you from a lot of shocking stories that I went through in this period. And eventually there was one place where there was a gentleman, an Indian gentleman, not Egyptian, who was a true professional, a true man, fair, honest, and kind. And he told me, I cannot promise you anything. Here's what we can do. Gather an orchestra, because I know you don't have one yet. He knew it. Come to audition for a full show with your new orchestra next week on Thursday, الخميس بالليل, Thursday night. Present yourself. There will be a bunch of Egyptian families coming on that night. They are going to judge you and tell us if you should be hired. If they ask for your name, if they tell us we want this dancer again, we will give you a chance. If not, we shake hands and you go on your way, I go on mine, and the world keeps rolling. Okay? I cannot promise you anything because we are overbooked. We have more than enough dancers. We don't need dancers. So you're either exceptionally good and the local audiences come for you, or honestly, there's no reason why we should hire you. Fair enough. I like that. I like that for two reasons. I like the honesty of it. I like it because it's fair. I don't want to take the work of another dancer. If that dancer is better than me, I really don't want. I want to earn my bread honestly through my talent, through my skills. So yes, absolutely. I'm up for that. And remember one thing, I am a sucker for challenges. You challenge me? Oh my God. Let's go, darling. I love a good challenge. He told me, let's see if they ask for your name. I told him, yeah, Mr. Chaudhry. Chaudhry was his name. He's still my friend today. He doesn't live in Egypt anymore. He was the manager of the Oberoi hotels, an incredible person and an incredible, exceptional professional that I was lucky to meet after having met so many foxes. And he was fair and he was strong and he gave me that ultimatum, the ultimatum that made me work so hard that I told him, yeah, Mr. Chaudhry, people are going to ask for my name every night. Not just that night, every night. Write it down and tell me later. He told me, really? I said, yes, really. Come and see. And that's exactly what happened. In a week, I had to go to Shar al-Haram, Haram Street, the Pyramid Street, the huge street, like an avenue that leads to the Giza pyramids, the famous Giza pyramids, collect a few musicians, get the first orchestra ready, and do the blast audition. From that point on, I never stopped. I worked practically every night for 8 straight years. Now, it is important to say that during those 8 straight years, I also worked with Mahmoud Reda. I studied and worked with him. So basically, in the mornings, I was working with Mahmoud and studying with Mahmoud, the father of Egyptian folklore. And from the afternoon onward, till the wee hours of the morning, I was performing with my orchestra at different venues, in weddings, and everything that started to come to us, me and my orchestra. Needless to say, also, that was a bubble. I lived in a bubble of my own making. My life was performing, rehearsing, recovering to do it all over again tomorrow. That was my life, all of it. There was nothing else. Yes, I had my relationships and I had 1 or 2 days off here and there, but that was not the focus and that was not my lifestyle. I was a full-on professional performer who performed for a living, who lived for performing. That came with a price. My personal relationships suffered. My health suffered. I eventually entered in a state of burnout. Not in Egypt, but once I started traveling the world and not even having a rest between all those years of daily performances and festivals around the world, I did not rest. I did not stop. In my adult life, I took 2 to 3 vacations. That's it. So nobody can handle that amount of continuous work without a rest, without burning out. And I did burn out. And the thing here, the warning here is the price you pay for the kind of success that I achieved. Point number 1, I did not do television and I did not do cinema because once those invitations started to come, the pressure to go out with specific men became absolutely unbearable. And it was made clear that I was either going to play the game, the prostitution game, or I was never going to progress into television and cinema. And not regretfully, gladfully, I said, okay, I'm going to close those doors. I'm not going to do cinema, something that I always wanted to do and was prepared to do because I was trained as an actress, by the way. I was trained as a dancer and as an actress in the conservatoire. I spoke Arabic fluently. I was so ready. And I knew I would kill it in the cinema. I knew it. But I did not want to pay that price. So that kind of expansion was a no-no for me because I was not willing to become someone I don't respect. I just wasn't, will never be willing to do that. That's not me. Okay? But there are other kind of price tags coming along with it. You know, I was living with my musicians, my assistants, my technicians. I did not have much of a private life. During all those years, I never thought about building a family, having a family, also because I did not find the person for it. I did not fall in love to that point. I did not invest in myself in other areas. I hurt my body because even if I took good care of myself, it is impossible not to injure yourself with such pressure and such amount of work, continuous work and no rest. I mean, there are a lot of consequences that come along with this choice, with every choice, right? So what I would like you to be aware of is that nothing comes without a price. And when you have a big dream, may that be a dance dream or whatever, you have to be willing to know that you're saying no to many other things. So you have to be willing and you have to be aware that's exactly what's going on. I'm going to do this. That means I'm going to discard this, this, and that. I'm not going to be able to leave this, this, and that. And if you're okay with that decision, go for it. I was okay with that decision and I'm still okay with that decision. I wouldn't change a thing if I could make it all again. Once again, it is incredibly important to know that you build yourself in Cairo or elsewhere, anywhere, from your talent, from your skills, from your professionalism, from being the best at what you do. I don't know if that's important for everyone. Well, I do. It's not important for everyone, but it's important for me because I'm a proud person, I am confident, and dignity matters. I think that you cannot dignify Egyptian dance if you don't dignify the Oriental dancers that practice Egyptian dance. So if you want the dance to be respected, respect yourself. That's my position. And I know it annoys a lot of people, but honestly, I don't care. Life goes on. You may hate me, you may love me. I'm always going to tell you what I believe in and what I know to be true. Of course, there are different ways of achieving success in Egypt and elsewhere that are not necessarily connected with talent and skills and professionalism and being really good at what you do. I know there are other ways. I'm personally not interested in those other ways. So yes, it's a lot of work. It requires a lot of talent, a lot of vision, a lot of stamina, a lot of resourcefulness, a lot of imagination, a lot of sacrifice, as in sacro officio, a sacred work, working for something bigger than yourself, working for a mission bigger than your ego, bigger than your thirst for fame. It requires all that and then some more. Is it worth it? For me, it is. Now, as we speak, my life is completely different from the life of a performer in Cairo. I wouldn't do it at this point, okay? I'm not interested in performing every day at this point. That's nuts. I have a life with, family, home, a husband. There is so much that I value and I want to experience and be present for at this point. But what has remained is the willingness to bring Egyptian dance back to the world with a kind of soulfulness, a kind of heart, a kind of artistry that unfortunately has been lost. And it's getting more and more and more forgotten. So nowadays, I have Joana Saahirah's online dance school and platform impacting students from all over the world. I do my performances, but I don't need to promote them. Yes, it's a luxury. I don't even need to promote them anymore because people call me by my name. How cool is that? How cool is that? That people call you by your name. They don't need to see your promotions of performances that you're doing because they know who you are, man. That's cool. And you know what that is? It's achieved. It's built. You work for that kind of credibility and respect. You work for it. And if you work for it, you will get it. There is something that I have learned in all these years, more than 25 years of career in Egypt and around the world. Okay. And that is, what you do has consequences. So you have to be strategic. You have to know exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it, and what is going to result from that. You have to be responsible for the choices you make in your dance career and life, and know that for every seed, there is a fruit. Not everything works the way you want it to work. Not everything succeeds and blooms, but everything comes with a consequence. Make sure you choose your seeds well so that you collect the fruits that you're dreaming of. Now, I have a very exciting program called the Professional Mastermind Program. I have it available privately, one-on-one, and I also have it in a group format. Yes, this is new. This is recent. In a group format, a little bit more economic, of course, than the personalized one-on-one program. But there are both options available at this point. The Professional Mastermind Program by yours truly, Joana Saahirah, teaches you, guides you into the creation of your professional course and performance. What is pedagogy? What is methodology? What it means to build a professional performance? And again, remember, I'm drawing from experience. In Egypt, I was doing thousands of shows per year with my orchestra at the best venues of the country, dancing for Egyptians. 1 hour show. Each show, 1 hour. 1 hour. This is not your typical nightclub, come and go, 5 minutes, shake, shake, go home. This is the real work. Real work. I am sharing so much from my experience around the world as well, what it means to become a successful performer, teacher, choreographer, working for different markets. From China to New Zealand, from USA to Japan, I have worked there and I have gathered experience and insights that I share with my students in this program. So we build a professional level course and performance like a pro, a professional. We got to go the extra mile if we want to be respected and if we want to be considered and if we want to leave a legacy behind, we got to walk our talk. For more information on how to join the Professional Mastermind Program, may that be the private, personalized one-on-one program or the group program, please follow the link that I'm sharing in the description box below this video or in the show notes if you're listening to this episode in the audio platforms. Now, I'm also offering something else. There is a free assessment for dancers who are considering to move from amateurs to professionals in the field of Egyptian dance. May that be full-time or part-time. And by the way, I advise that you go part-time first, okay? And see how it goes and then go full-time eventually. I offer a free assessment. If you want it, grab it, where I give you guidance on what to do next, the next logical steps to get you closer to where you want to go, to get you closer to your goals in your dance. I offer that free of charge, independently of you joining one of our programs or not. I have done that to dozens, at this point, dozens of dancers, and I do it with all my love and all my generosity. So if you are interested in receiving that free assessment and receiving my guidance for free. Oh my God, I'm crazy, I know. Please follow the link that I'm also sharing, you know where. In the description box, in the show notes, it's all there. Follow the link, ask for your assessment, and you shall receive it. Now, I am going to invite you once more to subscribe to the podcast newsletter and tell me, what did you think about this episode? What have you learned from my experience in Egypt? And mind you, I did not tell you anything about my work around the world or writing and publishing books or opening a global online school. I haven't shared any of it right now, but I will. I will very soon at the Oriental Café podcast. Follow us, rate us, like us if you like us, like this episode, share your comments in the comments area, and don't forget to share this episode and other episodes of the Oriental Café podcast with your dance peeps, because they will benefit from this too. If you know of a dancer who is thinking about becoming a pro in this area, you know exactly what to do. You gotta share this episode with them. Be a friend to your friends. Empower others the way you wish to be empowered. My name is Joana Saahirah. Let's go again. And it has been a pleasure to share a bit of my incredible adventure in the field of Egyptian dance. In Egypt in particular. From Egypt to the world. I love you so much. I will hear from you, hopefully see you, and dance with you soon at Joana Saahirah's online dance school, or at our free assessment, or even in our professional mastermind program. All the information you know where. In the show notes or in the description box below this video. And I will see you next time at the Oriental Café podcast with a very delicious, special guest that you don't want to miss. Love you. See you and dance with you soon. Big kiss. Mwah.